Good evening. Today is March the 18th, 2021. I hope everybody's had a good day. And March 18th is an important day in history in an organization to which I've been a member for many, many years. It's important for two reasons. It was on March 18th, 1314, that there was an execution by burning at the stake on an island near Paris, France. The persons put to death were Jacques Demolay, who was the last Grand Master of the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, better known as the Knights Templar, the Order of the Temple, or simply the Templars. They were among the most wealthy and powerful Western Christian military orders, wealthy in spite of the word poor in their name. Since 1967, I've been a member of the Order of Demolay. I joined at the age of 16, and this order, a organization at the time, it was for boys 14 to 21. The number has been, the minimum age was later reduced to 13 and finally to 12. But it's been around a long time. We remember the founder of Demolay, who was born in Vitry, department of Haute-Saône, France, in the year 1244. At the age of 21, Jacques Demolay joined the Knights Templar, and this organization had been founded in 1118 by Hugh de Pins and Godfrey de Saint-Omer, and it was sanctioned by the Roman Catholic Church to guard the road between Jerusalem and Acre, protecting Christian pilgrims en route to the Holy Land. The Templars were both soldiers and monks. Their ritual was written by Saint Bernard of Clairvaux. They participated in the Crusades and earned a name for valor and heroism. It was in 1298 that Jacques Demolay was named Grand Master of the Knights Templar, a position of power and prestige that he held for the rest of his life. And it turned out he was the last Grand Master of this organization. At that time, the Muslim Saracens had defeated the Crusaders in battle, captured many vital cities and posts. The Templars traveled to the island of Cyprus, waiting for the general public to rise up in support of another crusade. Instead, however, the Knights attracted the attention of the powerful lords, who were interested in obtaining their wealth and power. In 1305, King Philip IV of France set about to obtain control of the Templars, who were accountable only to the Pope. Philip the Fair, Philip IV, was very power hungry. He owed quite a bit of money to the Templars. So, by the way, they were some of the earliest bankers. Record keeping was not near what it is now. But it was possible to deposit money in a Templar preceptory, as they called it, in one city, and then get the money that you had deposited in another city, even though they didn't have electric transfer or anything like that back in those days. They became quite wealthy, and Philip was quite greedy. And persecutions began. King Philip managed to force Pope Clement V condemn the Templars at the Council of Vienne in 1312. Their wealth and property were confiscated, given to Philip's supporters. And during years of torture, Demolay refused to reveal the secrets of the order, disclose the location of the treasure, or reveal the identities of his brethren in hiding. On March 18, 1314, Demolay was tried by a special court. As evidence, the court depended on a forged confession, allegedly signed by Demolay, who disavowed the confession. Under the laws of the time, the disavowal of a confession was punishable by death. Another knight, Geoffrey de Charnay, likewise disavowed his confession and stood with his Grand Master. Philip ordered that both be burned at the stake that day. And thus the story of Jacques de Molay became a testimonial to heroic comradeship and loyalty unto death. According to legend, while he was dying, de Molay summoned the king and the pope to meet him before the judgment seat of Christ. And when both men died within a year, many proclaimed Jacques de Molay to be a prophet. In my 2006 book, Eliphas Levi and the Kabbalah, which began as my doctoral dissertation at Baylor, this book right here, the subtitle is The Masonic and French Connection of the American Mystery Tradition. And I discuss Levy's writings on the Knights Templar. Levy did much to popularize the idea that the Templars were a secret elite who were custodians of secret knowledge. He insisted that the Templars had inherited the mystic gospel of the Egyptian priesthood, which passed through Jesus and the Apostle John. He viewed this Johannite doctrine as a Gnostic Kabbalah, which had been transmitted to the Templars and later extended to a wider audience in the establishment of Masonic lodges by de Molay at Naples for the east, Edinburgh for the west, Stockholm for the north, and Paris for the south, while he was in prison awaiting execution. And while no modern historian takes such claims seriously, much has provided grist for conspiracy mills. Although the Knights Templar were suppressed during the 14th century, today there are a number of organizations, both Masonic and non-Masonic, that bear the name and trace their roots, either directly or indirectly, to the crusading order. De Molay had been charged with heresy toward the church, with betraying the king. He would not reveal the name of the brethren in hiding. He would not tell the king where the treasure was buried. He would not reveal the secrets of the order. And as a result, he died on March 18, 1314, burned at the stake. as a martyr to loyalty and toleration. And in Kansas City, Missouri, on March 18th, 1919, and that's 52 years ago, Frank Sherman Land, a prominent businessman and Freemason, met with 9 young men, and they decided to start a youth organization under Masonic sponsorship. After Land related the story of Jacques Demolay, the group decided to name itself for this historical figure connected with Masonry. Although he never had any children of his own, Frank Land became known as Dad Land, and he was a father figure to thousands of boys who joined the order he built. In 1970, I served as Master Counselor of Waco chapter of the Order of Demolay. And I just learned through a Zoom conference tonight that Waco chapter Order of Demolay was chartered on June the 29th, 1921. And there's plans for a centennial celebration this summer. After I moved to Ennis, I attended some meetings of the Legacy chapter of Demolay in Midlothian. Since then, and I've moved to Corsicana, I've attended some meetings of the Black Gold chapter here. And 2 years ago, of course, the #100th anniversary of Demolay was celebrated. And in 2014, there were a number of events held to commemorate the 700th anniversary of the tragic death of Jacques Demolay. And again, there's many Masonic and non-Masonic organizations that go by the name of Knights Templar. The International Masonic Knights Templar held a commemoration in Paris, France, March 21st through the 23rd of 2014. And so, again, today is observed March 18th to remember Jacques Demolay, the inspiration for the order, the last Grand Master of the Order of Knights Templar, and also the founding of the order by Frank S. Land in Kansas City, Missouri on March 18th, 1919. I received both the initiatory and the Demolay degrees in Waco chapter, Order of Demolay, on September 26, 1967. I dug up my certificate. And also, in the year 1994, which was the 75th anniversary of the founding of Demolay, became a member of the Demolay Alumni Association. And then in September of 2016, I was honored to be awarded the Order of Chevalier from the Order of Demolay in a ceremony in Waco at the Scottish Rite Temple. Received this certificate along with this ring. Can't see it very well, but has a picture on it of Jacques Demolay. And so this is also some pictures taken at the Chevalier ceremony, including one with my dear wife Deborah and I holding my certificate. In high school and college years, Demolay was a very important part of my life. Served as Master Counselor Waco Chapter in 1970. Shortly after turning 21 in 1972, I petitioned for and received the degrees in Freemasonry in Waco Lodge number 92. And as they say, the rest is history. I salute Grand Master Jacques Demolay. We hail thee, noble martyr. Also salute Frank S. Land. We love you, Dad. You made it a way for all of us to improve ourselves by the great work you did. I salute both of these men on this sacred day of March 18th. Have a good evening.